Hello guys, Robot1 here coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, I'm going to be doing my hand testing video / combo video for my second place Adamancipator deck profile. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I'm currently wearing a very nice shirt. That's because I completely forgot to make this video after the actual deck profile. I forgot to make it, and I've been to work all day, and I got in and realized, oh damn, I need to make a combo hand testing video. So yeah, today's video we're going to be doing that. We're going to be showing you the hand testing video for the Adamancipator deck profile that I came second with at locals, and we're just basically going to see what the deck is capable of. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, draw our first 5 cards, see what we can do, and let's have a blast. So, starting off, we drew Droplets, Seeker, Doki Doki, Researcher, and Guardian. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this hand is just insane. Like, you've opened not only a way to stop hand traps, but you've opened a Researcher that can special summon itself with the Guardian on board, and a Seeker, which can go ahead and just special summon itself after you special summon the Researcher. So this hand is absolutely insane, so let's show you what it's capable of. So obviously we start off by normal summoning our Mirror Guardian, and then we go ahead and attempt to summon the Researcher. So we special summon out the Researcher, and we then use Seeker to special summon itself as well. Now, why is this so strong? Because technically this whole board plays around Imperm and Ash Blossom and Nibiru. We've got the Mirror Guardian so we can negate Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Effect Feather, or anything like that if they attempt to negate one of our Researchers or Seekers. And also, we've got 2 different Excavate monsters, so we can go ahead and use their effects to go into further combo plays and Excavate further. Even if our opponent has 1 hand trap, they're not going to get rid of both of these right now. So just very, very strong opening these 3 monsters, because it means we can combo as far as you want. So let's continue on with the combo. So we're going to go ahead and start off with Seeker, which will allow us to Excavate 5 cards from the top of our deck. We got a Nibiru, a Dragite, a Roxy's, a Nibiru, and a Fancies. So this hand, you've got kind of 2 options. You can either summon the Dragite to get the free draw, or you can summon the Roxy's to go into the Prank Kids combo. Now, let's be honest, you're going to want to go into the Prank Kids combo because it will allow you to do a lot more things and just give you a lot more windows of things that you can actually do. So we go ahead and do that. And then what we're going to do is, before using the Seeker, we're going to go ahead and link the Roxy's off, and we're going to summon Meow Meow Mew. We'll then declare the effect of the Roxy's, and Roxy's effect is going to allow us to banish one card from our hand. We obviously banish the Doki Doki, it's the worst card in our hand, and we want to keep the Droplets for our opponent's turn. And then we go ahead and special summon a Fancies. You're always going to special summon Fancies first because it will allow you to get all the prankers you need out of deck to allow you to basically make Battle Butler. So we summon out the Fancies in defense mode, and then we go ahead and link the Mew and the Fancies into our Doodle Doodle Doo. We then trigger the effect of Fancies and Doodle Doodle Doo, so we can go ahead and search our fusion spell and also go ahead and special summon another Prankid / get the other ones out of deck. So we're going to send the Dropsies to the graveyard and special summon out the Lampsies. You could literally do this in any chain link, it just depends on how you want to play it. And we also go ahead and add from our deck to our hand the fusion spell. I'm just doing it for sake of time on the video, really. I know I called Fancies effect as chain link 1 and then the Doodle as chain link 2, but we're just doing it this way because time's sake, and we saw it in our hand, so we just saw it first. So we add that to the hand, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use Doodle Doodle Doo's effect, sending it to the graveyard to go ahead and add back the Fancies and the Droplets, the Dropsies. We then go ahead and now use Seeker's effect, which will allow us to Excavate 5. To see what we can get, we got Researcher, a Mirror Guardian, a Nibiru, and then a Mirror Guardian, another Roxy's, and a Monster Reborn. Now, with this hand, you have a couple of options. You could keep the Roxy's in the deck, so you can go ahead and special summon it during your opponent's turn, when you obviously use Pandemonium to fuse multiple of your Prankers monsters, or you could summon the Guardian to have that additional negate, or to set up for that level 4. Now, obviously, either one of these we summon are going to go to the graveyard, but the best one here to summon really is going to be the Guardian, because having the Roxy's in deck just summoned during our opponent's turn is a lot better because it means we have more resources for our following turn. So we go ahead and summon out the Mirror Guardian, and then we're going to go ahead and synchro these 2. We're going to synchro summon into a Adamancipator Raptite, and then we're going to declare its effect, which will allow us to Excavate again. So let's go ahead and Excavate a Dragite, an Analyzer, that's exactly what we want to see because it means we can Excavate again, Fusion Destiny, Revival Golem, and another Guardian. So we're obviously going to go ahead and summon out the Analyzer because it's just an additional Excavate, which is really, really strong. And now we've got the Raptite, the Researcher, the Mirror Guardian, and the Lampsies. Now, this is something that can happen a lot in this deck where you just fill up all 5 monster zones and you're not sure where to go from there or what to do with your cards. Now, when this this tends to happen with me. I kind of debate with myself, what's the best play? And honestly, the best play is normally just synchro the Reptile and the Researcher, and then just make a Crystal Wing. Because if you make Crystal Wing, it gives you the monster negate, and it means that you can actually get rid of the Guardian if you really don't want it on the board. And seeing as right now we have no rock monsters in hand, it's gonna leave the board regardless, so this just allows us to go even further. But what we're gonna do next is we're gonna use Analyze's effect to excavate the top 5 to see if we can hit a rock monster. And we didn't hit a rock monster, so we did actually whiff. But if we did hit a rock monster, that would have been absolutely insane, and we'd been able to go slightly further, but sadly we didn't. Also, I kind of just realized we didn't draw a card for the Roxy's, so yeah, that's also a bit of a problem. We didn't draw a card, but just remember to draw your card of Roxy's. We'll say the bottom card on my deck is the Roxy's draw. Like, we're not going to see what it is because it was completely random and we didn't know what it was, but just for the sake of the video, we're going to actually, you know what, we're not going to say the bottom because we excavated. So instead, we're going to say this card here is the Roxy's draw that we should have had. So it's completely random. We don't know what it is. It's not going to help us in any way, shape, or form because we already used the special summon effect of our Researcher. But yeah, so we completely whiffed with this, so we can't actually go very much further, but you still make some plays after this regardless. So what we're going to do next is we're going to actually link the Guardian and also the Analyzer to make Crystron Halki Fibrax. And you're probably wondering, why are we making Crystron Halki Fibrax here? It's not going to do anything but summon a dead monster on the board that you can't actually use. But the reason why we're doing this is because of its quick effect during our opponent's turn, which will allow us to summon a Synchro Tuner from our extra deck to the board, so we can actually utilize that during our opponent's turn as well. But continuing on, we do use Halki Fibrax's effect here though, and it's going to go ahead and summon out a Tuner. Now, the Tuner that I prefer to summon is always Seeker. Reason being that it can only special summon itself while you control an Adamancipator monster, whereas Research can always special summon itself as long as you control a rock. So I just prefer Seeker. It seems a lot better in my opinion, and I just like the card overall. So yeah, we summon the Seeker, and then all we really do is we set the Pandemonium, and we also set the Droplets anywhere on the board, and we just pass from there. And then on our opponent's turn, when there's an open game state, we go ahead and use Halki Fibrax's effect banishing itself to summon out a Formula Synchron, and then we use Formula Synchron's effect to draw a card. And pretty much after that, once we've used the Crystal Wings effect to negate, we just go ahead and synchro these two off as a quick play effect, because Formula Synchron is a quick play tuner, and we just go ahead and summon out either the Satellite Warrior if we're against back row decks, so we can pop up to 3 cards, or we summon out the Baroness for that additional negate / every turn pop, or just to go ahead and then during our standby phase, summon back, say, the Crystal Wing, or summon back the Reptile to go further on in plays, or hell, even you can summon back Researcher, Analyzer, Seeker, Cookie Mirror Guardian, whatever really comes up. So pretty much you do that, and after you've done that as well, if you really do need to, or you feel like you're not going to go into the quick play synchro, then what you can do is you can just Pandemonium, fusion the Lampsies, the Dropsies, and the Fansies, and then you just gain 1000 life points, burn your opponent for 500, and you summon Battle Butler along with 2 Roxy's from your deck as well. So, well, only 1, because we actually did draw the second Roxy's from our deck, but we can special summon it from our hand as well. It's not recommended, I would say, because you could draw a rock monster to special summon, but, like, you can just fill up your board very, very easily. So, like, this is pretty much the deck what we'll do normally turn 1, even if you don't open, like, Seeker, Guardian, and all of that stuff, but that's just how the deck normally plays turn 1. So that was the first test hand. Let's go on to another one now to just showcase what the deck can actually do with other sort of test hands, because the hand we did open was absolutely insane. Like, opening Researcher, Guardian, and Seeker, that's just mental, and when you open a hand like that, you're always going to be able to make full combo with this deck. Like, if your opponent does have something like, I don't know, impermanence for your Cookie Mirror Guardian when they nib, like, that can suck, but hey, if they got it, they got it. What you're supposed to do then. But let's go ahead, shuffle it up, see what we can get, and hopefully it'll be a very, very good hand. Okay, so next hand, let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. I missed a card, 5. And let's see what we got. So we got Droplets, Guardian, Seeker, Nibiru, and Foolish Burial. Now, this hand is very, very different, obviously, because this hand we've opened Guardian and Seeker, so we can't actually special summon the Seeker if we really, really want to, because, well, we would only be able to normal the Guardian, and we wouldn't have an Adamancipator to summon with this effect. So, how do you actually play this hand? Well, the way I choose to play this hand is normally we just normal summon Seeker. And the reason behind that is because we've actually opened the Foolish Burial. And what Foolish Burial will allow us to do is send the Revival Golem to the graveyard to get a free special summon, so we can still go into Reptite if our opponent actually does negate the Seeker's effect. So we're going to play as if our opponent doesn't have hand traps, of course, because we want to show you what this deck can do at full power. But the logic behind normal summoning Seeker here is literally just Foolish Burial, send the Golem, and then special it back, so you can go ahead and have a level synchro play, and then just go into your combos from there. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and use Seeker's effect. We're going to excavate the top 6 cards, well 5 cards, and we're going to see what we can actually get. So the only target we obviously got is the Dragite, so we're going to go ahead and special summon it in defense mode, and then we're going to go ahead and trigger its effect to draw 1 card. That draw is a Quirky Mirror Guardian, so a card that we can't actually use. But still, this combo is still viable right now, and we can still play the game. So what we do next is we obviously just go ahead and synchro these two into the Reptite, because the Reptite is going to be the card that will allow us to just go more extenders and just get us to the Analyzer or a Researcher, hopefully, so we can go further as well. And then we're going to go ahead and use this effect to excavate 5. Hopefully we don't whiff it. That's terrible. We've got Roxy's, we've got Signs, and we've got a Fusion Destiny. So as we can actually see, we haven't successfully hit what we need to hit. We didn't hit an Analyzer, and we didn't hit a Researcher. So all we can actually do is summon the Roxy's, but this is where an interesting choice comes up. You actually have 2 lines of play here. You can either keep the Roxy's on the board and go ahead and summon a Revival Golem from the deck, or we can go ahead and link this off, make a Meow Meow Mew, and go into the Prank Kids combo, where you'll end on basically a DD Crow with the Reptite, because there'll be a Fancies in graveyard. You'll end with 2 Roxy's on the board, and you'll also end with a Battle Butler. Now, this is truly just an optional choice. You don't have to do this. You can do this. Don't have to do it if you want to. But personally, it's kind of like, do you want to stop your opponent from doing things now, or do you want to like be able to set up a board and risk maybe getting the beard or something? So the way we're going to play it is actually going to be the way where we get more Adamancipators, because I want to show you how far we could actually potentially go with Adamancipators. But if you choose to go a safer route, you can literally just go Prank Kids route and then end on like a DD Crow with a Battle Butler that's a double Raigeki. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and leave that on the board, and then we're going to use Foolish Burial to go ahead and then send the Revival Golem. As I said, Foolish Burial is just really good with this card because it means we get a free special summon. But we send the Golem to the graveyard and then we special it back, because of obviously, when it's sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can special summon it from the graveyard. So we special summon it to the board. We're then going to go ahead and overlay these 2, and we're going to summon out our Gallant Granite. We're going to then use it to go ahead and detach and search a rock monster from the deck. The monster we're going to search is our Researcher. Reason behind this is obviously Researcher can special summon itself while you control a rock monster. Now, we haven't actually used Analyzer's effect to special summon yet either, but we can't excavate with it again, so we obviously get the Researcher in this case. So we go ahead and shuffle it up again. Hopefully we won't whiff this time, and we'll go ahead and see what we can get. So we're going to special summon out the Researcher because we control rock monsters, and then we're going to use this effect to activate 5. Analyzer, Doki Doki, Guardian, another Researcher, and another Researcher. So with the current hand, we actually have a couple of choices. The best choice here is to actually summon the Doki Doki, because then we can go ahead and summon Analyzer from the deck, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and summon out the Doki Doki in attack mode, and then we're going to put these to the bottom. We're then going to go ahead and, well, actually, you know what? We have 2 choices here. We can go straight into a Crystal Wing now with these 2, so we can go ahead and potentially prevent our opponent from doing more things, or we can just risk it all and then try to Analyzer to, you know, go further as well. But it really comes down to personal choice here, where if you want to go into the Analyzer, you can, or do you want to go in the Crystal Wing to have more protection? Now, obviously, at this point, we would have been nibbed, we would have been Ash Blossomed, we would have been hit by anything, so it really is personal choice at this point, where if you think your opponent has been holding the nib, waiting for you to have like 5 monsters on the board to stop you from playing the game entirely, then that's a thing. But at the same time, it also comes down to, do you think your opponent has the nib and is doing that? Now, just for safety's sake, we will just go ahead and synchro here and summon out the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. But it's a kind of a choice here if you really want to go into it. But we'll continue on anyway, and we'll use the Doki Doki's effect, and we'll discard our Quirky Mirror Guardian in hand to special summon the Analyzer to the field. Obviously, the only one that we have not used yet. So we special summon that in attack mode. And then we're going to go ahead and declare its effect after shuffling. So we declare its effect and excavate 5. So it's a Researcher, another Researcher, a Miracle Rupture, a Signs, and a Monster Reborn. So we whiffed, it's sad, but that happens at times as well. And obviously we've seen double Researcher twice, so maybe I need to shuffle the deck a bit more every time we do this. But yeah, so pretty much we've whiffed again, so the only choices we have left now, and it's not bad choices, but it's just not as good as I would have liked it to be. But what we do from here now is we literally just go ahead and link these two together, summon out the Crystal and Hauki Fibrax again, use Hauki Fibrax's effect to summon out a Tuner from the deck. As I said, we're going to go ahead and always summon out the Seeker just because that's my personal preference, and we summon it in defense mode. We're then going to go ahead and link these two, summoning out the Predaplant Verti Anaconda, and then we're going to use Verti Anaconda's effect, paying 2,000 life points and sending the Fusion Destiny to the graveyard, to then send the Celestial and the Dasher to the graveyard as well. Wherever he is, he was on top of the deck. To go ahead and then Fusion summon out our, well, DPE. So pretty much with this board, we end on a DPE with a Forbidden Droplet set because we drew it, a Monster Negate, another way to get a draw, so we can go ahead and banish this and then summon the Forming the Synchron, getting a draw. And then we also just, if we waste the Monster Negate here, we synchro again and either go into, as just like before, either the Satellite Warrior for back row destruction, or we go into Fleur de Lis for the just negates in general as well. So the Baron de Fleur or the Satellite Warrior, both is good and both has optional choices, but it really depends on your opponent which one you end up going into. But yeah, so that was the second test hand. Obviously a very different line of play to actually get to that combo, and we couldn't have gone there if we didn't take that slight risk with going into the Researcher, because if we whiffed on the Researcher, it would have just been a Crystal Wing pass pretty much. Well, you would have gotten Needle Fiber to go into the Crystal Wing regardless, so you could still make the Baroness or the Satellite Warrior during your opponent's turn, but obviously, it's like, is this worth it? Is it worth it? Should I just go ahead and take that risk and go the Prankers combo so I can end on double Raigeki? Like, it comes down to, is the double Raigeki more worth than the negate potential? Like, you either get 2 negates or you get 2 Raigekis. And I think most of the time Raigeki is a safer play, but it really just comes down to personal preference and what you want to do as a player. So yeah, let's go ahead, shuffle this up one more time, do one more test hand, and then that's going to be the video. Okay, so last hand, let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see what our final hand is. So we start off with a Roxy's, a Lampsies, a Destiny, a Primal Being, and a Supplier. Okay. So this hand is actually kind of interesting. So we started off with the Prankers engine, and pretty much because of the way we've opened this, we have a couple of options. So let's go ahead and play this out. So we're going to always go ahead and start off with this hand when we summon our Roxy's, because Roxy's is a rock monster and it will allow us to summon our Quirky Mirror Guardian when it's sent from field to graveyard. So it's just really, really strong there. So let's go ahead and play out. So we're going to go ahead and start off with linking off the Roxy's and special summoning out the Meow Meow Mew. We then go ahead and use the Roxy's as Chain Link 1 and then the Supplier as Chain Link 2. We special summon the Supplier and then we banish a card from our hand. We'll just banish the Nibiru because it's the most useless card, and not forgetting this time, draw a card, and the card is Foolish Burial, so that makes this hand even better. But you know what, it's random, so we won't play with it. I want to show you guys what this hand can do without it. So we go ahead and now resolve the effect of Roxy's to special summon a Prankers monster from the deck. The Prankers monster we're going to summon from the deck is always, as I said, going to be Fansies, wherever it is. Like, Fansies is the one that you always want to summon here. So we summon Fansies in defense mode. We're then going to go ahead and link these two, summoning out the Doodle Doo again, And then we go chain link 1 Fansies, chain link 2 Doodle. Well, this is on top, so we're just going to instantly take that. And then we're going to go ahead and send to graveyard, wherever it is, our Dropsies. Special summoning out a Roxy's. Now, obviously, with the hand that we opened, we went full Prankers combo, and we've also ended with 2 level 4 monsters. Which, guess what means we can search with Gallic Granite, because all you need to do is get to Gallic Granite is 2 level 4 monsters. It's a generic monster. So how we got here was pretty much, and the only reason we got here with still sustaining the Prank Kids combo is that we opened, obviously, the supplier with 1 Prank Kids that wasn't Fansies. Now, if you opened the Fansies, this would not be possible. This would be in a completely different hand and would be unplayable, but because we didn't open the fans, it's just very, very strong and can go very, very fast. So we'll continue on from here now because I'm just lecturing on now, and we'll go ahead and now just we'll overlay, into the Gallic Granite. And we'll go ahead and use the Gallic Granite to instantly detach and search us a Researcher. Okay. We'll then special summon the Researcher in defense mode and then declare its effect to go ahead and excavate 5. We'll see what we can get. A Guardian, which is nice, but you see, here's a choice now. You can either get the Guardian for that negate, which isn't going to be used, or you can get the Dragite. And because we're not going to be able to use this effect because we need to go further into our combo to be able to play the game and we have to get rid of the Guardian, we're obviously going to summon the card that gives us more advantage, which is the Dragite. So we summon the Dragite, and then we use the Dragite to draw 1 card. We drew a Seeker. That's absolutely insane. But as I said, we're not going to be using cards we drew because these can be completely random. So these cards are not part of our hand. Well, they are part of our hand, but they're random, so we don't know what they are. We're then going to go ahead and use the Doodle, though, just to go ahead and send it to the graveyard, and then add the Fansies and the Dropsies, so we still have access to it no matter what. I should have done that a lot sooner, but I was explaining other things and forgot. So we currently have this in hand. We're then going to go ahead and synchro these 2 into the Raptite, and then we're going to use Raptite's effect to excavate 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we got a Seeker in the end regardless, and we're going to summon it because of obvious reasons. Now, with our hand, we would never get the Doki Doki as well because, well, no rock monsters, so you're not going to get that. But we continue on with this, and we summon out we already summoned out the Seeker because we're going to excavate with the Seeker next. So we use the Seeker's effect next, excavating the top 5. And we haven't whiffed. And we go ahead and summon out, well, with this hand, it's kind of a choice. You can summon out the Crusader just so you can have that level 4 access, or you could go ahead and summon the Doki Doki because it's honestly not that good regardless. So, you know what, with this, we're just going to go ahead and summon the Doki Doki because it's going to end up in the graveyard regardless as well. So, what we do after this is we just go ahead and link these 2, summoning the obvious contender again, which is Crystron Halki Fibrax, and then we declare Halki Fibrax's effect to summon a Seeker from the deck. Now, obviously, we have 1 in hand, so if you had 1 in hand, you wouldn't do this, but we're playing as if we don't know what those cards are, even though we drew them. Like, that's the whole point right now. So we summon out the Seeker, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to synchro these 2, and this is where you actually have a choice again. Now, you can make the Crystal Wing again, but if you're scared of back row, you can actually make the Dragite now, because you actually have a water monster engraved this time. You have the Risen Dragite. The Crystal Dragite. So what that allows you to do is, it gives the Risen Dragite in your extra deck the ability to negate spells and traps, which is just really, really strong. So if you don't want to make the Crystal Wing because you're scared of back row, you can just make the Risen Dragite here. The reason why we haven't been really making it the whole video is because we haven't really had a water in the graveyard outside of when we prank his combo and after making Butler. So you wouldn't be able to use the Hulk effect to go ahead and summon the Formula Synchron and then go into the Baroness or the Satellite Warrior. But nonetheless, it's still a really good combo and a really good choice to actually make the Dragite here if you're scared of back row decks. But if not, you always just make the Crystal Wing because Crystal Wing is really, really strong. But yeah, so we make the Crystal Wing here, and then all we actually do is, because we've opened the Destiny, we obviously go ahead and use that, just sending the Celestial and the Dasher to the graveyard to go ahead and make the DPE again, because DPE is a really strong card, and whenever you can make it, you really, really should. So we summon the DPE, and then all we really do after that is we set 1 card face down, and we pass turn. So on our opponent's turn, we just go ahead and obviously do all the plays where we banish this, we summon the Formula Synchron, we turn these into this, or you go into Battle Butler, summoning 1 Prankers from the deck, or 2, because you might 9 times 10 gonna put this in the extra monster zone, aren't you? But like, that is just generally what you do with Adamancipator. This is like all the stuff you can actually do. The deck is really insane and really fun. As you can see, it all really relies on luck, because we did whiff a few times, but whiffing later on in the combo is very different to whiffing early on in the combo, because if you whiff early on in the combo, you're not going to be able to play the game, but if you whiff later on, you've already got kind of a board established, and that allows you to play the game even further 9 times out of 10 as well. But guys, what do you personally think of Adamancipator? Do you think the deck is insane? Do you think the deck is cool? Do you think it's fun? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on Adamancipator in the comment section below, because Rocks is just a really fun deck. It's a really luck-based deck, and even though we ain't got Block Dragon, obviously, in the TCG, the deck can still do things and can still do some crazy things. Like, hell, I've even picked up some Small Worlds to debate putting in here as well, because, well, I love the deck, I want to play the deck, and even though I don't really think Small World is necessary, it's a card that can be used as well. But, guys, what do you personally think of this deck? What do you think of these combos? What do you think of the end board? Do you think it's insane? Do you think it's bad? What do you think it can be done about this to make it even better? I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and if you want to see the deck profile for this video, guys, I'll add that in the description below as well, just in case you want to see that. And yeah, guys, that's all I actually have to say. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Robot1 signing out. Later all.